Thank you for that weather coverage, Amanda. Now folks, I had to do a double take when I saw this story. A local man has been hospitalized after crashing his car after the quote-unquote Honey Nut Cheerio bee flew into his windshield and obstructed his view. We have identified the man as Zachary Liddell, a local man who has been reported as clinically insane and a danger to the community after making wild claims that his copy of Jonah VeggieTales movie is trying to kill him, and that Stuart Little stalks him while he showers. I hate hospitals. Well, since I'm bound to this hospital bed, I suppose I should find a way to pass the time. There's not a lot to do here. They put me in the children's section of the hospital for some reason. They even gave me this pink wall. Okay, what do we got here?
Let's talk about the birds and the bees. When people love each other, they face off against each other and they try to one-up each other even though one is clearly a runaway winner. But let's not throw DVDs out of the ring yet. I think they deserve a fair chance in this fight, so let's compare and contrast DVDs and Blu-rays and see which one is superior in the end. So DVDs have been around for longer. Before that there were CDs, but with specs like these, CDs lost before they even joined the battle. So DVDs were first created back in 1995, the year I was born. It was created by two groups of companies. The first one was Sony and Philips, and the other one was Toshiba and Time Warner. They were basically trying to decide on a standardized disc format that could be used in all their competing technologies. That must have been an awkward family dinner.
So, we all need to brainstorm ways to kick each other's butts more efficiently.
And eventually they decided on the DVD or digital video disc, but nobody calls it that except for my 157-year-old grandma.
Zachy, where's that digital video disc?
So yeah, these things are almost 30 years old, pretty insane. Now for Blu-rays, these things were created back in 2000, the year I was born. It was created by the BDA, or Blu-ray Disc Association, which was a mishmash of different companies again, like Sony, Philips, Panasonic, and JVC, once again going,
Sony, you haven't contributed anything to this project, how else am I gonna beat you? Well, maybe if you hadn't cut our name tag budget. Don't give me that look, Philips. I already submitted my ideas. I think JVC just died.
The first prototype Blu-ray player was put on the market in 2003, but they didn't become widely used until 2006. Blu-rays started becoming more widely used, and eventually they overtook DVDs in sales and became the new standard for movies and shows. They still put out DVD versions, but Blu-rays had stolen the spotlight, and it looked like they were gonna have it for a while.
Well, I should probably get a head start on digging this.
Yeah, with services like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus emerging, DVDs and Blu-rays started to become less and less used. Why pay like $15 or $20 for a singular movie when I could pay $10 a month and get access to unlimited movies and shows? So, instead of discontinuing these two, they introduced a third one! 4K Ultra HD discs. Now, technically these aren't a new disc format, they're still under the Blu-ray name, so they're more of an enhanced version, but I don't care, I'm still gonna call them their own thing. So 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs are basically just better Blu-ray discs. They can hold more data, and the movies and shows are in much better quality now. 4K, baby! I knew extra pixels could fix any problem!
I just can't continue on like this anymore, honey. We're breaking up. Wanna make out?
And these 4K discs are usually marketed towards collectors and people who just love physical media. They usually chuck in a bunch of bonus media and deleted scenes and all those goodies. I, for one, don't really like the stuff you used to get on basic DVDs or now locked behind the 4K collector's editions. Like, I feel like used to, the only difference between all these was the price point and the quality, but now if you want any commentaries or behind-the-scenes goodies, you usually have to go for the Blu-ray or Ultra HD Blu-rays. And if the basic DVD does have behind-the-scenes stuff, it's usually extremely bare bones. Like, hey, do you want to see a prototype of the Toy Story logo? The Y used to be bigger. But if you're just a humongous fan of Toy Story 4, why am I even talking to you? But I'm still just gonna compare DVDs and Blu-rays since those two have the most dramatic differences, but just for fun, we'll also compare them to 4K Blu-rays as well. So, starting off, we have the quality. DVDs are weak losers. Only 480p or lower.
Can you imagine being forced to watch something in 480p when a 1080p option is available?
Which when you scale this up onto your 85-inch flat-screen OLED Samsung TV, it's not gonna look that great. It's still a watchable experience. It's not like my eyes disintegrate when I watch a DVD, it's just that they almost do. The main reason for this is storage space and cost cutting. DVDs can only hold 4.7 gigabytes, and an hour and a half long movie in 1080p is going to be way more than that. Even if you double layer them, you still only get 8.5 gigabytes, which is better, but still probably not enough for a feature-length movie, and definitely not enough for a season of a show. Now, Blu-rays, oh, this is where it starts to get socially acceptable to be seen in public with one of these. These can do full 1080p, although some do 720p, but 1080p is the standard, as it should be. Now the movies start to actually look crisp and sharp, and you can actually read the tiny letters in the background of some shots. These bad boys can hold 25 to 50 gigabytes, it depends on the film. And then 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs can go from 50 gigabytes all the way to 100 gigabytes. Those are some pretty impressive numbers, but 4K footage takes up a lot of space, so all of that space is necessary. Like, do you even want to know how many gigabytes Bonnie crying is? And it's not just video quality, the audio quality is much better as well. Blu-rays have much better compression technology, so the audio quality sounds miles better on these than on DVDs. So for the quality round, Blu-ray is taking home the win, but next up is price, and this is where things get insane and crazy.
They're discs.
DVDs are cheap. You're usually looking at about $10 for a modern movie on DVD. Not a bad deal, but keep in mind that for that same price, you can get like a month's worth of unlimited movies and shows, and depending on your internet quality, footage above 480p. And you won't be getting that many bonus features, and you also just be getting the DVD. That's it. Now, Blu-rays have a bit more of a fluctuating price, but I want to say for a new movie, it's usually around $20 to $30. That'll be 2 or 3 times as expensive as a DVD, but you do get a lot more. First of all, good quality. You'll also get 2 discs usually, the Blu-ray version and the standard DVD version. You'll also get a lot more behind-the-scenes material, and sometimes they'll throw in a digital copy you can keep on all your devices. Which I find confusing, because if I wanted to watch these anywhere, I'd just pay for a streaming service. And if I wanted an actual video file that's physically on my computer, I mean, let's be real here, I'm just gonna rip the movie using Handbrake or something. At least that file gives me more freedom with what I can do with it. The digital copy files are pretty locked down. Pretty much all you can do with them is play the movie. And 4K Blu-rays are supposed to go for about $40, but these things are always discounted, so you can usually find them for like $10 to $15. Which at that price point, why would you get the DVD? I pay the same price or like $5 extra and I get way better quality and a treasure trove of behind-the-scenes material, plus the regular Blu-ray version. And to that I say,
I don't know!
Now, in order to play a 4K DVD, you need a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player, and they are not cheap. Plus, most computers don't support 4K Blu-ray, so if you want to shove this onto your laptop or something, well, first you'll probably have to buy an external drive, since most laptops don't have disc slots anymore. And you'll have to make sure it can play 4K discs. You can't just use any ordinary cheap one from Walmart. And if you use Mac, well, you're all kinds of screwed. In the price category, DVDs will take home the victory, but next up is value. Please, Disney, tell me what I am paying $30 for.
Judy Hopps nudes!
Like I said, with a standard DVD, you get the standard DVD.
Wow, this desk is a desk!
Behind the scenes stuff is usually limited, and the quality is worse than most modern shows. With a Blu-ray, you get 2 discs, your hip-hop uncle who gets all the girls, and your drunk uncle. You also get way more behind-the-scenes stuff, although usually 4K discs still offer more, but sometimes these two give you the same amount of stuff. But usually not. And value is where it gets tricky. It really just depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for something to chuck in the backseat of your car to get your kids to stop strangling each other, then you'll probably just want a DVD. If you're a hardcore movie collector who adores physical media, then you'll probably want 4K Ultra HD discs. And if you're somewhere in between, then I think maybe a nice Blu-ray will suit you. I think I'll give it to Blu-ray though, since you can usually find these on clearance for about the same price as DVDs. And next up is the compatibility category.
Oh, yep, they're a match.
No, not that type of compatibility category, silly myself. I'm talking about compatibility with other devices. DVDs are compatible with a lot of things. Pretty much anything that has a disc slot can play a DVD. Your car? You know it. Your grandma's old DVD player you found in her tomb? You know it. You can also find any old external drive and it'll most likely play a DVD. If it doesn't, well, just give me that back. Now, Blu-rays is where things start to get complicated. Suddenly, not any old external drive will work, it has to be a specific one that can play Blu-rays. Grandma's old DVD player won't work anymore either, you need a Blu-ray player, not a DVD player, a Blu-ray player, and they're usually more expensive than DVD players. And your car might reject these as well, but thankfully mine didn't because I bought the I like Blu-rays trim. And 4K Blu-rays, you'll need a 4K Blu-ray player, not a DVD player, not a Blu-ray player, but a 4K Blu-ray player, and they can be crazy expensive. And now you'll need a 4K external drive for your laptop, and who knows if your laptop is even powerful enough to support a 4K movie. And when I tried to put one of these in my car, why? Anyways, for the compatibility category, DVDs take home the win. Now it's time for the packaging. Which packaging looks nicer? Well, most modern DVD packages look like this. They're black with this DVD-only logo at the top. It's kind of a screw you from the manufacturers. It's like, oh, you only get the DVD, nothing else, just the DVD, and we're telling you this on the sad, colorless line at the top. They didn't used to do this. I have a lot of older DVDs that don't say anything at the top, but manufacturers have started discriminating against their customers depending on which copy they buy, and I, for one, think it's time we stop this!
Huh, maybe I should run for president.
On the inside, you have the disc on one side, usually on the right, and space on the left for any bonus paperwork or other goodies, but since you bought the DVD, you usually get nothing. For Blu-rays, you have the Blu-ray logo at the top, and underneath it you have what's included in the box. Sometimes it's presented on a blue line, other times the manufacturer has a custom line for it. The cases are blue, and these also usually include slip covers. These are super useful, and they make your box look nicer. So these are super annoying, and they make your box look worse. Like, for me, these are just a pain in the butt. They get all dented and creased, and it's just an extra step when you're trying to get to your movie. Plus, sometimes you lose them, or some movies just don't come with one, so on your shelf, they look really out of place. So for me, it's just nicer to get rid of them. At least then they all look uniform, and there's no scratches or creases. On the inside, you have a disc on each side. Sometimes the Blu-ray is on the left, and the DVD is on the right. Other times, the DVD is on the left, and the Blu-ray is on the right. It depends on what side of the bed Disney woke up on this morning. But I believe the standard is to have the Blu-ray on the right and the DVD on the left. The left is also where the paper goes. I don't really like how it covers up the DVD this way. Like, you would open up this case and have no idea that the DVD is even there. Which I guess is the whole idea, since you likely bought it for the Blu-ray and the DVD is just an added-in bonus. And I don't really know where else they would put it, but it just makes for a less glamorous unboxing experience. Like, I open up the case and most of the time this stuff just falls out, but if I do want to use the DVD, then I have to remove it and then find a place to put it. But I do like these cases. It might be because blue is my favorite color, but something about them seems so appealing to me. Like, whenever I see one, I'm just like,
I wanna touch it, 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 I wanna touch it.
Now for 4K Blu-rays, they kinda take inspiration from the DVDs, which isn't a good sign since these are at the top and they are at the bottom of the lineup. These also sometimes come with slip covers, and just like the Blu-rays, I hate them. These usually have this 4K Ultra HD logo at the top, ooh, and it's all nice and shiny, and scratched.
$40 is what they expect you to pay for this.
Underneath that, you'll usually have this gold banner, which again lists all the stuff that's included. And at the bottom we have this Ultimate Collector's Edition banner. I think this looks fine, although I think it's just a little unnecessary. Like, it's $40 and is in 4K, but you think without this banner any average Joe is gonna buy this?
I don't even own a 4K DVD player, and I'm not an Ultimate Collector either. I just saw Buzz and Woody on the cover and wanted to revisit my childhood, and I ended up paying $40 for something I can't even use.
Is that what went through your head, Disney?
Yes, it was.
The cases are black, just like the DVDs, and once again we have this double disc presentation where there's a disc on each side. Except this movie has 3 discs instead of 2. I guess there was so much behind the scenes stuff it needed its own disc, and so they just stacked 2 of the discs. This just feels cheap and wrong. It seems like they've engineered it to where the discs don't scrape against each other, there's space in between them, but why not have one of those cases that has the folding disc slots? Oh, I know why. It's because it would cost more money to manufacture 2 different designs, so let's just stuff them all into this all-purpose design. Like, it's not a huge deal, but sometimes when I try to get one out, they both just end up popping out. You kinda have to dig your fingers into the space between to pull the top one out, but then that might scratch the sides. And if you want the bottom one, then you have to pull the top one out, put it in a safe place, then pull the bottom one out, then put the top one back in again. And then if you want the bottom one this time, you have to do that over again, and then you might want the bottom one again, and the cycle just repeats itself over and over again. Also, out of all the cases, these ones just feel the cheapest. It's a movie case, so I don't expect it to feel like bulletproof titanium, but these are incredibly easy to bend, and I swear it would be incredibly easy to break one of these over your knee. Or not even over your knee, just in your hands. Also, the black, sure it looks cool, but it reveals so many fingerprints or stains. They used a much glossier plastic on these ones, while the DVDs have a much rougher textured plastic. And honestly, I like these ones more. I think they're trying to make the 4K ones feel premium and luxurious with the glossy plastic, but it feels and looks cheaper than the rough plastic on the DVDs. Even though these are the most expensive, The 4K ones are without a doubt the worst out of the free case designs. These just feel insanely cheap. The Blu-rays aren't as bad, but they're still bad feeling, and the DVDs feel the nicest out of all of them. I'll give Blu-rays the design category, but as for the next category, build quality, DVDs win hands down. And now it's time for the final category, scratch resistance. Blu-rays are much more scratch resistant compared to DVDs. You see, they have a harder protective coating on the data slide, making them much harder to scratch than DVDs. I think. Now you still can scratch them, it's just harder now.
So, after adding together all the points, it seems like the winner is... Blu-ray!
I kind of had a feeling Blu-ray would win. DVD got a lot closer than I thought it would. It was only 2 points away from winning. But Blu-rays are the best option to me, and they're probably what I would recommend to most people. They sit comfortably in the middle of the lineup, perfect if you don't want the high-end 4K discs. But you also don't want the gross basic DVDs. You get a good balance of quality, features, and compatibility, and if someone's wanting to start a physical movie collection in 2023 for some reason, these are what I would recommend. Although honestly, 4K Blu-rays are a lot more accessible than you might expect. Like, you still need a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player to get the true 4K experience, but these things are always discounted to insanely good prices. Like right now you can get Toy Story 3 for only 15 bucks, Finding Dory for 15 as well, Monsters Inc. for 14, I'm noticing a pattern here. Shrek 20th Anniversary Edition for $17, Willy Wonka for 17 as well, Beetlejuice for 17? I have no idea why 4K movies are so dirt cheap. They must not be selling well, which makes sense because again, streaming platforms are taking over. So if you have a 4K TV and player at home, spring for the 4K Blu-rays. They're usually the same price as the regular Blu-rays, but you get so many more features. But I mean, Amazon said the DVD for Beetlejuice was only $1.69. Something about that seems off. Like, what illegal things are you doing, Amazon?
And you know what? I'm actually feeling a lot better now. Don't need you anymore, suckers. I can go home and do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's nice to finally be back home. We have identified the man as Zachary Liddell. Here is a picture of his car. Son! Mom! I thought, I'd put you in that nursing home. You never told me that it was my car that you crashed! Mom, just take a seat and calm down and I'll explain everything. Come here! I'm sorry, Mom! I didn't really mean what I said, guys.